Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, it's time for below grade level. It's time for the fright of your life.
Hello and welcome to Below Grade Level, the show where we take the books that we read as kids and read them as adults and ruin them. I'm one of your hosts, Jonathan Eaton. With me as always is Bekah Eaton.
Hello.
And Chris Zaleski.
Salutations.
Oh my goodness.
Trying
How's it
something
going?
new.
Yeah, I like it. You're in a robe. You're saying salutations.
You're in a robe?
He's in a robe.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's that time of year.
okay.
It's that time of year. You know, chilly.
I'd wear one year round if I could.
So you're going to wear a robe now until, like, April?
Yeah,
Cool. Okay.
I've recorded many a podcast in a robe.
I don't think I've ever noticed.
Well, that makes me feel nice.
Oh, boy. Welcome back to the show. We're reading Christopher Pike's Scavenger Hunt, and to help us get through the madness that is Christopher Pike is returning champion Bob Rose. Hello, Bob.
Hello, and I thought Chris was wearing an elaborate scarf, if I'm honest.
Like a cowl neck.
Can you see
scarf.
how it looks like a scarf?
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It does look like a cowl neck.
Robe
Yeah.
and underneath a Jurassic Park shirt.
Oh, my
That's
goodness.
nice. There you go.
I only knew it was a robe because he stood up at one point and walked away, and I was like, are you naked under
Are you robed?
there? Are you berobed?
Ensconced in velvet?
Robed. I need to get a velvet one.
Bob, thanks for coming back on the show. We've been wanting to have you back for a while because you were so much fun last time, and like our schedules haven't been lining up. And what's really funny is that the last time you read with us was also a Christopher Pike book,
I was just
Yeah,
trying
I
to
was gonna
remember
say,
what it
it
was.
was.
and
Oh, God.
not only was it a Christopher Pike book, but we were specifically reading like the terrible teenage flirting with like a hot tub and like a girl being naked, and
Right.
like very similar vibes already
okay.
in this book, like extremely similar themes.
Chapter 1, there's already a naked girl in a pool.
In a pool, yeah.
In the morning on a school day.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys know my vibe, I guess.
I just wanted to throw that out there and be like, by the way, this was unintentional.
Okay.
But like,
I love naked girls and bathing in pools
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
In bodies of water.
That sounds really creepy, though. Are these teenagers in this book? What
Oh, yeah.
age
Yes,
are?
of course they
Oh,
are.
wow.
High
See, that
schoolers.
sounds bad if I say that. I don't
but it's
like
for
that.
teenagers, so it's not gross. It's just
I
written
like
by
of-age,
man.
consensual naked people bathing.
Oh, I thought you meant for, like, the quantity of 4. Like, well, if there's 4 teenagers, it's
Oh.
fine. They cancel each other out.
Yeah, we all know the law. As
One
add their
teenage
ages
girl
together?
is the problem.
yeah, that's the problem that
Add
most
3 more, everything's fine.
that's the problem most guys run into is they don't quadruple them up.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
Hey, anything we say right now,
It's
what we're gonna
cancel.
read's gonna be so much worse.
Yes.
That's very true. Becca, what happened last time on Scavenger Hunt?
Who can say? I'm trying to remind myself. We had a cold open, basically, that I wrote down almost nothing about.
Yeah.
We had a prologue.
Well, almost nothing happened
Well, still.
in it. Yeah.
We had a prologue in a church. Oh my god, this cat. In an old church at the edge of a tiny town. I just need to, like, read some of it
Yeah.
to even remind myself. Old tiny desert church, basically. There's a teenage boy who I think is
Desert.
18.
Oh, does it say?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that. But
It was somewhere while I was flipping through.
Yeah.
So a teenage boy goes into this church with, I think, a Spanish-speaking priest.
yes.
And
and-
he...
Well, no, I was just gonna say
You
like,
always interrupt me so much.
Well,
in
just
the
because-
recap. So much.
just because like the prologue takes so much pains to be like this teenage boy, but it's like it's obviously the main character.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to further interrupt, but after everything we just talked about, and then you're like, this teenage boy goes to someone's place with a priest. I'm like,
Well, it said he's 18, but that still doesn't make it great. Oh, yeah, literally. The priest asked him how old he is.
Oh.
Why would a priest ask you that? He goes to confession.
Wow.
So this
We really were
18-year-old
on our best
boy
behavior with Clint.
goes to confession. confesses to the priest that he killed someone. And the priest asks him who, and he's like, it's not important. And basically the priest asks him to tell him the story. So I guess the book is like the boy and the 18-year-old boy in the confessional telling the story
happened
to a priest.
Yeah.
In an old Spanish church.
Yeah. My only guess is that, like, at the end of the book, it's going to, like, pick back up
and
with him.
And his name was Carl Timmons. So
you're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was the prologue, Boy to Church.
Mm-hmm.
The chapter 1 starts off with our main character's name is Carl Timmons. He's having a dream about being a kid with his friend Joe.
Right.
His friend Joe, who has died. We don't know exactly how, but in the dream, they're at a dam and it's raining and a thing falls from the sky and it smells bad and there's blood in the dream water. Joe drowns. The thing that fell from the sky was a flying lizard, ?
Yeah.
And then he gets woken up by a phone call.
Also, weren't they like 3 years old in the dream?
Yes, they were very small in the dream. They were like on tricycles trying to
outrun a wall
trying
of blood.
to out tricycle a flood in a gulch. And Joe didn't quite make it in the dream, and Carl wakes up and he's like, "That's weird. There's not usually blood in the water when I have this same dream over and over again."
Is this like Stranger Things episode 1? The Phantom Thing or something?
I don't remember that well. But a smelly lizard falls from the sky. So if that happens in Stranger Things, then yes.
Well, kids in like an attacking weird lizard thing, you know. I don't know.
First season of Stranger Things was several lifetimes ago, Bob.
It really was.
It was the last age.
Okay, so he gets woken up with a phone call from Cessy, who I already don't remember what that's short for.
Short for Cecilia.
Cecilia, okay. Cessy with a C and 2 S's. I hate it. And she is asking him to be on her scavenger hunt team. And then I think also convinces him to pick her up for school. She is currently swimming in her pool at her house with their friend Tom, who is recovering from a head injury and who seems to have impaired functionality due to his head injury. And that's Tom.
It's a real bummer.
So he's also, I was kind of reflecting to himself that Tracie had called him and left him a voicemail asking him to be on her scavenger hunt team.
Yeah.
But he hadn't responded and was like, well, she called first and she's really nice and I had a crush on her, but she's a nice girl and Cessy's hot and she's naked in a pool currently. So I'd rather be on her team. And I could be wrong. I don't remember. I think Rick is Tracie's brother or Cessy's brother. He's somebody's brother.
Okay. He might be Tracie's brother, yeah.
I think Tracie's brother. And my notes are all over the place because that's how the exposition dump was.
Yes.
It was so back and forth. So after that, we learned that his dad drives a truck and his mother is absent.
Oh,
and then we learned that the name of this town is called Express, which I hate. That's insane.
Yeah.
A soup store for skinny people.
Right.
Carl goes to pick up Tom and almost hits Rick with his car. Rick in a wheelchair who has muscular dystrophy. And I think they were basically saying was like a shoe-in to win the scavenger hunt because he's super smart or something. I don't know. I wrote down in quotes the cesspool, and I think that was probably Chris's joke. That sounds like a Chris joke about the pool that Cessy was in.
I said from here on out, I'm only referring to it as the cesspool.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, wait. Maybe Rick is either related to Tracie or nobody, and maybe I was confusing it because there's another boy named Davey who's Cessy's brother. Davey and Cessy have only been in town for a year, and Davey is the class president. So maybe he was the one everyone wanted on their team.
God.
I bet they're the bad guys.
It's really helpful that everyone's name ends in E.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
They'll definitely fucking remember that.
That's how you know they're kids.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Also, does
Davey,
intelligence
Tracie.
necessitate like winning a scavenger hunt?
Unless it's like heavily
it's puzzles?
clue-based.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it's all riddles, I guess.
Yeah. And I also remember them talking about how like the scavenger hunt is like this, or maybe it was on the back of the book that was like a
senior
secret
class thing.
But it was like talking about how it was like secret, but it's literally named after a teacher and it's like school sponsored.
Oh yeah, I didn't even write that down, but yeah, there's a sponsoring club.
Yeah.
That has promised a wonderful prize.
Okay.
It's secret
can't
if you don't
remember what
live on this side of the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
isn't it like named after the fucking town?
It's named after a teacher.
Or wait, not Express, but
No,
Yeah.
it's like it's called the something scavenger hunt and it's named after a
I'll
teacher.
take
I
better
think.
notes
The
this
club
time,
as
I
well.
promise.
Yeah. Or maybe that's what it was. The club was named after. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out, guys.
Okay.
Let's find out. Chapter 2. Tracie White felt as if she were running out of time. Next Friday was the last day of school, and after that, she would have no excuse to get together with Carl Timmons. No good fucking excuse. Of course, she could always call him up during the summer and ask him out, but just the thought of it made her stomach queasy. It had taken her an hour of talking to herself to call him the previous night.
Tracie.
And invite him to join their group. And then he hadn't been there, and she'd had to leave a message. She was
That's
a
better.
Yeah, right? She was a bit surprised and a little hurt that he hadn't called her back. He hasn't called her back? God,
He's a dick.
Tracie.
He went right to Cessy.
Right? Tracie, Cessy, really, it's not, I can't.
That's brutal.
Tracie.
It's really confusing if you're just jumping in.
It's confusing for us.
I was
Yeah,
just
it's
gonna
not
say
any
it's
better.
also confusing for us. Tracie thought she might be in love with Carl. Oh, no. No, you're not, though. Her infatuation with him had been going on too long to be labeled a simple crush.
You're in love with the idea of him.
Yeah.
Carl.
It's called unrequited, Tracie, and it'll never work out. She could remember when she met him the first week of their freshman year. She had an art class, and the teacher sent her to fetch a bag of clay from the supply room. Only, the bag turned out to be an 80-pound sack, and she was having a devil of a time getting it back to class. Like, teacher couldn't have given her a hand truck?
Or a warning? Like 80 pounds is like probably how much they weigh.
Yeah, it's most of her body weight as a freshman.
Yeah.
There was no like strapping young lads in the class. Like, hey, you guys look strong. Go carry
Yeah,
this heavy
someone
thing.
on the football
Oh,
team. I guess
the
it was
teacher-
an art
First of
class.
all, no one on the football team's in an art class. Second of all, that teacher is high as shit. They're just like, yeah, go get the clay.
The teacher's very progressive. He chose a woman because to choose a man would be sexist.
Yeah.
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 At 18 and about to graduate, she was still underweight, but at 14 and just starting high school, she had been a twig. She weighed 3 pounds.
Fortunately for her and the clay, Carl just happened to walk by. Thank God for the clay. I was very concerned. Tracie didn't believe in love at first sight. It was illogical. How could you love someone you didn't know? Liking the way a guy looked, even lusting after him, sure, that made sense. But to fall in love with someone in the space of 3 minutes, that was dumb. Yet by the time Carl walked her back to her class with the sack of clay slung carelessly over one broad shoulder, she was a goner. Because 14-year-old boys are so fucking beefy.
I don't know.
More like
I
a
would
gooner.
struggle doing that now.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more like
That would
body mass than I did at
wreck
14.
my back for a week.
Yeah.
To this day, Tracie did not understand what had happened in those few minutes. Carl was cute, but her feelings for him had not blinded her into imagining he was a knockout. He had an excellent build and a gorgeous head of blonde hair, but there was nothing distinctive about the shape of his face or the color of his eyes. Not if the features were studied from afar, or from, say, a photo. Wow, she's thought about this way too much.
Oh.
It was only the quiet warmth of his presence that made his brown eyes seem to sparkle, the calm strength of his personality that gave the angles of his mouth and jaw. I hate this, a power that perhaps they did not really possess. Yet it was none of these things that made her love him. She loved him simply because he was Carl. Could we have not found
A better name?
cooler guy's name
Yeah.
than fucking Carl?
No. Apparently not.
Lenny?
Shlomo.
Literally
Christopher Pike was like, I already used Christopher.
Yeah.
His own name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that book about the kid writer, right? Was that the one where his name was Christopher?
I think it was the sexy young grandpa who was named Christopher.
Oh, no.
I love Christopher Pike books so much.
It all began in minutes, but it might just as well have ended then, too. As the days passed, they became good friends. He would talk with her at lunch, and several times they met after school at the library to study together. They even went for ice cream one Saturday evening when they bumped into each other coming out of the same movie. But as the days turned to months, and the whole of their freshman year and the beginning of their sophomore year, and he never asked her out on a real date, she found talking to him at lunch less satisfying.
Yeah.
Painful in a way. The truth hurt. He liked her, obviously, but that was all. She took to avoiding him. What could she do? Other than just straight up tell him that she likes her?
Get over it or ask him out and be done with it.
Yeah.
See
Damn
how he
gender
can
roles.
Lift 80 pounds.
What could she do? And the worst thing was that he didn't even notice that she was doing it. He never stopped her at school to ask her what the problem was. He just went his way and she went hers and life went on. Or maybe he was like, maybe I annoy her, so I'll avoid her too. Like,
do you know how oblivious I was to girls liking me until I was like
30.
I met you. Yeah.
I still am.
24.
And even then I'm just like, really?
I'm about to be 39 and I'm just like, oh, she was nice. He just went his way and she went hers and life went on. Nevertheless, she continued to watch him, secretly, waiting for the day he would begin to date someone else so she could murder them.
Real quick, that just reminded me of at my bachelor party, Chris hit it off with this girl at a bar at like the first place we went to. And you guys were like talking it up for a while. And then you were just like, okay, bye. And me and Mark were like, what are you doing? And we went to her and got her number for you and gave you her number. And you threw it away and you were just like, she lives in D.C.
I did end up reaching out.
Perfectly fair.
You did?
Yeah, because I was doing a show down in D.C. when I was still doing stand-up. And I was like, hey, you want to come to this?
I didn't know
She was like, oh, no, I'm busy that night. And then that was it.
yeah, okay. That's fine.
You didn't want to offer another night? It's fine.
No.
That's a long drive.
It's a lot of work.
I feel like that was already more effort than I expected him to put
Yeah, it's a
into
long
it.
drive, but what age were you when this happened?
You guys have been married, what,
Was
20
it
years now?
10, 11
I was going to
years
say
ago?
for youth, and if you could drive a
11.
car.
Yeah,
It was the year we got married.
2013. So you were like,
I'm not doing actual math. I'm just trying to remember,
Well, you were-
which might be worse. So it was 27?
yeah, I think
How
27.
old am I? Yeah, 27.
Yeah,
Yeah,
All
Chris,
right, now
Chris was
we're-
also 27.
yeah, and still
Alright.
lazy.
Still lazy.
Where was
I
I?
don't
Waiting
DC
for the
fucking
day he would
sucks,
begin
man.
to date
I
someone
wouldn't want
else.
to park down there.
Yeah, honestly, if it was
It's
me,
true.
I'd be like, no.
I'll give you that.
Waiting for the day he would begin to date someone else. He never did, though, and it made her wonder if maybe she did stand a chance. Near the end of school, their junior year, she contemplated calling him, making up some silly excuse why they should get together. She practically had the phone in her hand when his best friend, Joe Travers, died in the desert. Oh, yeah, and for Bob's benefit, he had a dream about them tricycling
I
by
said that.
a dam, but
Yeah,
it was... They actually went hiking like a year ago.
Oh, yeah. Like, he
Oh,
did
yeah.
die that way. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was in like a ravine or something.
But there wasn't a dragon in blood. But
Yeah. They weren't like children
The
on
dragon's
tricycles. They were
metaphorical.
like
yeah.
16
Yeah.
in a
Okay.
desert.
And is
I
was
don't know,
there
I
is
didn't
there
write
something
that
about how like the town blames him for killing Joe or letting Joe die, or is that just in his
Yeah.
head? Or I don't know.
I think some people
Yeah.
do, combined with his own
There's like
guilt.
whispers of him being possibly a murderer.
There goes
Yeah.
Carl.
Then her best friend, Paula Morrow, told her to stay away from Carl. Paula said he was too bummed out, too angry at the world to talk to anybody. And it
Forgot
was
about
true.
Paula.
I also did.
Doesn't end with the same, it's not like palsy.
Yeah. Polly.
Polly.
And it was true that when school started the following fall, Carl could often be seen standing by himself, staring into the middle distance. But Paula didn't fool Tracie for a minute. Paula had loved Joe, and now she hated Carl for having survived the desert flood when her boyfriend had not.
Oh, no.
The animosity went unexpressed, hanging in the air between them like a dark cloud. Occasionally, Tracie wondered whether Paula would remain her friend if she did go out with Carl. Yet that had all changed a week ago when, out of the blue, Paula said they should ask Carl to be in their small group for the Scavenger Hunt, the title of the book. It was Paula who had given her the courage to call Carl the previous night.
I bet this
Paula's
is a revenge plot against
Yeah.
Carl.
Paula's explanation was simple and uncharacteristically altruistic. Her past problems, she said, shouldn't interfere with her friend's future happiness. Besides, her younger brother, Rick, adored Carl and wanted him on their team. What team is that?
They don't have team names yet, which would make this a lot more.
It would.
Wait, what
'Cause
sport is
easy
it?
Oh, no, it's
Oh,
the Scavenger
the
Hunt
sca-
team.
the-
Oh, it's the Scavenger
Scavenger
Hunt
team, yeah.
team. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay.
Field
Rick
hockey.
Now Rick was giving Tracie the bad news. Carl had rejected their offer. The two of them were waiting outside in the shade of the gym for Paula to show up and the assembly to begin. That was the official reason for their meeting place. In reality, Tracie was waiting for Carl to walk by so she could accidentally bump into him. Meet cute time?
Yeah.
And beg him to give me a chance.
Oh, Tracie.
What exactly did he say when you asked him? Tracie asked. God, I don't. The writing sometimes.
All the time.
Asked. Yeah. I told you, Rick said. Tell me again, word for word. First, I asked if you called him last night, and he said no. But I did call him. I left a message. What time? Rick asked.
Oh, my God.
10:15. That was late. You told me he gets off work at 9:30. But he usually goes straight home and goes to bed, Rick said.
Let's
Why
nail
would
this.
he
Let's
know
really
that?
get into this.
This is a great conversation.
What teenager goes to bed before 10:15?
Boring ones.
Guilt-ridden
Yeah.
ones.
Aren't you up playing The
Murderers.
Sims until 1:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
He's not going to bed. He's had his, serial killer dungeon.
Yeah.
You got to tend to. You should have called him at 10. Why does he go to bed so early? Beats me. He must be tired. Anyway, then I asked if he wanted to be on our team, and he said his friend Tom had already asked him to be on his team. Tom who? Tracie asked. Tom Barrett.
What a great page.
It was.
Wow. Yeah.
Couldn't have asked for a better one.
Jesus.
Good warm-up.
Bob just leaves the Zoom.
This was fun, guys.
Oh, yeah, that guy. That's rude. But then you said maybe he and Tom wouldn't mind teaming up with us. I don't know who's talking. No, I suggested the two of them team up with us. What did he say to that? Tracie asked. That he would have to see when he got to school. That sounds okay. Why are you saying he's not interested? And then Rick
Obvious
exasperatedly left.
Yeah.
Before Rick could answer, he suddenly stopped and grimaced. His back arched and his breathing changed to a rapid pant. Tracie did not panic. He often suffered painful back spasms. She automatically reached out to steady his wheelchair. Rick should have given up on the chair a long time ago. What? His condition was degenerating. He needed, motorized wheels. Contrary to the strong image he projected, he was quite weak. Weaker than he had been the previous year. She watched with a lump in her throat as he forced himself to bend forward and stretch his muscles against the cramp. "Are you all right?" she asked. "Yes." "Would you like me to massage your back?" "No, thank you. I'm fine, really." It was not unusual for her to rub his back when they were alone together. She had the...
I don't want to hear it.
but Bekah, she had the greatest hands in the world, he said.
Oh, gross.
And she thought she did have a good touch. Growing up with 2 younger sisters, she had always been the one to play doctor for whomever was ill.
It just gets worse.
Please stop it. She planned on going to medical school when she graduated from college, even though she had a hard time seeing people in pain. But she played doctor. Is that the prerequisite? Rick sat up.
That's
and
first year.
Yeah. Rick sat up and took a deep breath, letting it out slowly. The spasm began to subside.
It wasn't so much what Carl said, but the way he said it, Rick explained, looking up at her. He knew her feelings for Carl. I'm sorry. She felt ridiculous having him console her when he was only 15 and had to struggle an hour every morning just to get out of bed. She leaned over and gave him a hug, burying his pale face in her long red hair. What do I need Carl for when you've already promised to marry me? She said. That's disgusting. That's maybe cute when you're 5. It's a well-known fact nuclear physicists make better lovers than auto mechanics, he agreed.
I disagree.
Ew!
Auto mechanics have nothing to lose.
I need to pause to write down ew, and I'm not even going to tell myself why, because I want future me to forget this moment. David Stepford came along shortly thereafter.
David what?
Stepford. Next to Carl, Tracie thought he was the most fascinating guy in school. He had his sister's great looks. I don't think Christopher Pike is from this fucking planet.
Yeah, do these books normally describe young people's bodies and stuff like this much?
Probably.
All the time.
Okay.
I get up for 1 minute to get a drink, and I hear the craziest shit coming out of your mouth.
I don't want to read anymore. All right, let's hear how hot David's sister is. He had his sister's great looks, big dark blue eyes, a wide full-lipped mouth, curly black hair. Indeed, they looked so much alike, Tracie had assumed they were twins. But Davey had said they weren't. Oh, this is Davey. Okay. Can we just call him David? Goddamn. Davey said they weren't. Then again, his personality differed markedly from Cessy. Oh, Cecilia. Okay.
Wouldn't
Okay. I got
Cece be a
confused
better
because we
nickname?
changed his fucking name.
Did you say Cece?
Yeah, that'd be a way
Yes.
better nickname.
It would be. She was only interested in having fun, but Davey was always maneuvering to get ahead.
Oh, cool.
Tracie admired
That's fun.
ambition. She had worked hard to get her scholarship to the University of Berkeley. She waved to Davey, and he floated over in his tight white slacks and half-buttoned red shirt.
Wait, what?
He had just come from
Floated.
golf that morning.
Like he just smelled a fresh pie on a windowsill.
Hey, babe, he said, offering his cheek for a kiss.
You
know how
who?
high
His
schoolers
sister?
do. No, you just missed some disgusting brother-sister stuff when you were
Oh.
getting your drink.
Okay.
He's offering his cheek to Tracie.
Okay.
How come you haven't called recently for the best I can give you?
Huh.
She
What?
obliged him with a quick peck, saying, It's hard for a poor working girl such as myself to dream of calling on someone of your high social standing. I would like to quit.
Okay. Which one was Rick again?
Brother, I don't think he has a voice.
A voice? No.
Okay.
Tracie's
Hey,
little brother.
Rick said.
Yeah.
I hear they're only giving us 15 minutes each at the graduation ceremony. As senior class president, Davey was naturally slated to speak at the ceremony to be held the following Friday. But even though Rick had the only perfect grade point average in the school, he was not valedictorian. The faculty felt he should be considered separately since he had been allowed to skip so many classes. On graduation day, they were giving him a special award and had asked him to speak on technology, pollution, and the responsibilities of their generation to the future.
Well,
Which thrilled him to no end.
he did a terrible job doing that, I gotta say.
That's true, Davey replied, but I speak before you, and I'll probably go over a quarter of an hour, which no child speaks like at all.
So 15 minutes? No one says quarter of an hour.
In that case,
How
Rick
old
said,
is Christopher Pike when writing these, you know?
Too
That's
old.
a great question.
Yeah.
Is he like a 65-year-old man writing this?
No, I think he's. I think he was a lot younger because he's still alive and he's still writing shit.
Oh.
Oh wait, Rick's coming back with a zinger. So,
Yes.
But I speak before you, and I'll probably go over a quarter of an hour. In that case, Rick said, I'll change my topic to the problem of noise pollution. Sick burn. Davey stared at him for a moment before responding, because no one has ever spoken to him that way. And Tracie wondered if Rick had accidentally offended him. But suddenly, Davey flashed the dazzling
He was
Davey smile.
34 years old when this book came out.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Younger than all of us.
Younger than all of us.
Yeah, but still kind of old for writing teens. But
True.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But suddenly Davey flashed the dazzling smile that had helped him get elected and slapped Rick on the back, which he had just had a spasm with.
Right.
You talk about the end of the world if you want, Dick, he said. Rick smiled. Rick. I'll remember, Davey said.
Banter.
Oh, God.
There's a rumor going around that you know all the ins and outs of the scavenger hunt, Tracie said. Davey shook his head. Cessy started the rumor. It's not true. Only the members of Mr. Partridge's club have the inside scoop, and they're not talking. But I do know something. He leaned closer and spoke confidentially.
even the club members don't know where the hunt is going to end. Only Mr. Partridge knows. Tracie had scarcely seen Mr. Partridge the whole year. Are we going to explain how Mr. Partridge is so hot?
I hope so.
But Paula had a class with him. She said he was unquestionably the most boring man alive on the planet today. But a scavenger hunt is where you go out and collect stuff, Rick said. Couldn't different groups end up in different places as long as they've gathered what they're supposed to? It's
a great
my
question.
understanding that certain articles on the list will be one-of-a-kind items, Davey said. You do have inside information, Tracie said. Davey glanced over his shoulder at a man moving toward the gymnasium, wearing his usual dark sunglasses and lumbering along as if his long legs were stilts made of petrified wood.
Wait, hold on. What?
Stilts? He's that tall? Mr. Partridge was heading for the entrance. I've heard enough to know it's going to be an interesting day, Davey said, taking a step away. Excuse me, please. Bye, Tracie said. Tracie called.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, please. Bye, Tracie called. It's a well-known fact. Most suave political types are impotent. Rick muttered. What?
What?
What a teenager say.
No.
It's a well-known fact. Most suave political types are impotent. Rick muttered. Jealous? Tracie asked. Rick smiled softly. Yes.
I don't have much of a frame
What?
of reference for this, but I'm picturing Michael J. Fox from that show where
Oh,
he
Family
was this
Ties.
guy, Family Ties.
Yeah.
Family Ties,
I didn't
yeah.
watch much of that, but I feel like that's who this is, right?
Yeah,
like a
sure,
little
I
young
can see that.
Republican.
Oh my God, yes.
Alex
Yeah,
P.
yeah, yeah.
Keaton.
Alex P.
Yes,
Keaton, thank
Alex
you.
P.
Yeah.
Keaton.
Yeah,
I'm old enough to have watched it.
Yeah.
I've watched Family Ties. Carl appeared approximately 10 minutes later. By then, the bulk of the traffic heading into the gym had cleared. The orientation was about to begin. Tracie felt a stab in her gut when she saw Carl. He was with Tom Barrett and Cecilia Stepford. Cessy! Tracie wasn't aware that he was interested in her. The two of them were walking... Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
The two of them were walking close together, laughing easily. Cessy looked like she had been swimming that morning for some reason. Tracie hadn't seen Carl laugh all year. Is it a well-known fact that guys like girls with bodies like hers? She asked. Oh, she asked Rick. I thought that was Rick saying. Is it a well-known fact that guys like girls with bodies like hers? She asked Rick. I haven't seen any research on the subject. I have, she said flatly. You're the last person I thought I'd see give up without a fight. Or are they're brother and sister, Rick and Tracie?
Yes.
Yes.
They have like a back and forth the way like a film noir couple does.
Did you hear what I said when you were out of the room?
No, I heard you yell ew.
Okay, we need to go back and read it.
Okay.
She was not right now, but like,
Okay.
she was like, I don't need him because you're gonna marry me, right? And he said something about like, I don't know.
Oh, I did hear that, and I
being
forgot they were
a better
siblings.
lover than something
Yeah.
or something.
Right.
Yeah. I can't keep any of these fucking kids straight.
Nowadays, they're not straight.
Oh.
Well, zing!
No one in any of these books is gay. It's awful.
Oh, and also thank fucking God, because can you
Yeah, I
imagine
guess.
Christopher Pike writing a gay character?
It's
It
for
is
the
a
Sure,
best
he would
villain.
handle it with grace.
He loped gaily to
He
his
killed
gay
them
town.
because he was gay.
Yeah.
I like men, Rick exclaimed.
Rick danced homosexually. Rick reached over and squeezed her hand the way you do to your sister. Go get him. I'll meet you inside. All right. As Rick wheeled away, Tracie tried to prepare herself mentally. People saw her as a spunky go-getter, and usually she was, except when it came to trying to get what she really wanted. She tentatively raised her arm and waved. Hey, Carl! He paused mid-stride when he saw her and stopped laughing. He was like, oh, God, that's so depressing! Damn it. The strange, quiet kid... The strange, quiet kid named Tom, wearing nothing but a t-shirt and gym shorts.
I forgot he gave
Yeah.
all his clothes to fucking
He gave his
Carl.
clothes to Carl because Carl, like, got pushed in the pool and was wet, and Tom was just like, you can have my clothes. Oh, because he's got a concussion. The strange,
Varsity
quiet kid
Blues.
named Tom, wearing nothing but a t-shirt and gym shorts, continued on toward the gym without breaking stride. Cessy giggled and waved back. She grabbed Carl's arm and pulled him in her direction. It was not the way Tracie would have planned it. Cessy had on a loose white dress that might have reached mid-thigh if only she stood still long enough. Her deeply tanned body was nothing short of sensational.
Said the 36-year-old Christopher Pike.
I know I've made this joke before, but she looks just like my neighbor's daughter. Ordinarily, Tracie did not suffer from insecurities about her appearance. She had a pretty delicate face with well-defined cheekbones and a proud chin. Like most redheads, she was fair. And if the summer sun didn't make her burn, it usually gave her another dozen cute freckles. Her only problem was she could not gain weight.
What a
Boy,
what a
do I
problem to
sympathize.
have.
Yeah, right.
She had too much energy and burned too many calories. It didn't matter what she ate. When she turned sideways, her shadow disappeared. She would have disappeared in Cessy's shadow. What the
My-
fuck metaphor are we jumping to?
God.
Or maybe it's like Cessy's shadow does shit on its own.
Because she's evil.
Are we out of practice reading Christopher Pike, or is this crazier than normal?
It's hard.
This is
It's hard.
crazier than the previous one.
Okay.
Probably not. I don't know. I feel like the story of the VCR one was crazy. I feel like the minutia
I
in
missed the
this
VCR
is
one.
so hard to get through.
Yes.
That's
The
the one where
VCR one?
the girl fell in love with her own grandpa because apparently she was a robot from the future sent by her grandpa.
And she has a VC. She bought a VCR that records the news from the future.
Sounds good
You
to
know
me.
that one? It's called The Eternal Enemy, obviously.
But the whole the fortune telling VCR was a full red herring
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
that had nothing to do with anything.
because it turned out
She
she
was
was,
an
just
android.
actually an android from the future who wanted to fuck her grandpa in the
Yeah,
past.
she went back in time and lost her memories,
her
and
memory.
then got a crush on her young grandpa.
and then her old grandpa came back to try to kill her. And
You-
it
Yeah.
was,
You guys
Sounds
just
like we're
don't
making
get
it up.
Christopher Pike, okay? He's
I
working
wish
on
I could
other
make
levels.
that shit up.
He really is though.
I don't even remember how that ended.
I don't either.
it just reminds me of a very like sage saying from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. You're not in control unless you're out of control.
Oh shit.
And that's the way Christopher Pike books work.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Christopher
Tokyo
Pike
drifting
lives his
through
life
his
one line at a
career.
time.
Hi, Tracie, Cessy said, letting go of Carl's arm and standing about a foot closer than was comfortable. Carl and I were just talking about you at breakfast. God, did he spend the night with her? Tracie smiled. Is that why my ears were burning on the way to school? No, it's why Carl's cheeks were burning, Cessy said, tossing her jumbled head of black curls. It looked like she'd gone swimming and forgotten to comb her hair. She still looked great.
John called it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Carl shifted uneasily. I got your message. I was going to call you back. That's okay, Tracie said quickly. I went to bed early, Carl said. It was dumb of me to call so late, Tracie said.
Tracie.
Oh, Cessy nodded. It's better to get him at dawn before he goes for his morning swim. She tapped Tracie on her shoulder. Why don't you two talk? I have to go listen to Davey's introductory speech and be bored. Cessy poked Carl on the side. I'll be sitting with Tom if you need to find me. They watched her leave. Like her brother, she moved gracefully. Only Cessy bounced more than Davey did. She's so friendly, Tracie remarked.
That's the bitchiest thing to say.
This whole page is like a reality show. Everyone's all sassy and backhanded.
my God.
I'm not here to make friends.
Yeah, right.
She's a nice girl, Carl agreed. He raised his arm to wipe the sweat off his forehead with the back of his sleeve, then changed his mind. And left the sweat there? The black shirt looked a size too small for him.
The strong muscles of his chest pressed against the material. The orientation is going to start any minute, he said. You're right. We should get inside. Yeah, he said. Like, why is that even a sentence?
Why did we have to know that he almost wiped sweat off of his face?
I will
I think
never
going inside
forget
would be a
that,
good thing.
as
Yeah,
long
I
as
look
I
at
live.
going inside too.
But neither made a move to leave. Carl studied the sky, and Tracie
I don't
looked
even
at
know
the
what to write
ground.
down. Carl almost wiped the sweat from his head.
He pondered wiping the sweat, but then
Yeah.
changed his mind. Yeah.
Just a couple years ago, they had been able to talk for hours and never run out of things to say. How have you been? He asked finally. Great, I'm going to Berkeley in the fall. I heard you won a scholarship. Yeah, it pays for my tuition, but I'll still have to work part-time to cover room and board. I don't mind, though. She gestured to the blazing sun. Anything to get out of this oven.
The sun.
Oh my God.
The twist of this book is that they're all time-traveling
Oh
robots.
God.
That would be awesome, though.
Strange weather we're having.
I hear you. Well, that's great. I'm happy for you. What have you been up to? I haven't talked to you much lately. He shrugged. When I'm not here, I'm working. What station is that again? Trask's on Canyon Avenue. I drive by there all the time.
I hate
She
this
hesitated.
so much.
I should stop in and see you sometime. I wouldn't bother, he said. The place is a dump. Oh, okay.
He's just not that into you.
She felt a knot forming in her chest. He wasn't even interested in her as a friend anymore. She should stop now before she made a complete fool of herself. Yet she thought of how long the summer was going to be sitting beside a phone she knew wasn't going to ring.
God damn it.
The reason I called last night, she began. Should I be doing voices?
If you want.
If you
Okay.
want.
I don't think we've started any.
I don't think we
Okay.
have either. Yeah.
The reason I called last night, she began, knowing he already knew the reason. I was wondering if you wanted to be on our team for the scavenger hunt. It would be me, it would be Rick, Paula, and me. And Paula said she'd really like to have you and everything. And everything.
What?
And
She
all that you
smiled.
bring to the
Yeah,
table.
you and everything
and
that
everything.
entails.
She smiled. I think the four of us working together could win the grand prize. What is the grand prize? She forced a laugh. Beats me. You didn't know? You said it. We could win this thing. Carl regarded her closely. He had lost weight since last year, and he looked tired. She wondered if he
I
still
thought
missed
his chest
Joe.
was bulging.
I know.
With
Yeah, I thought it
teenage
was.
Was
boy
he thin or is he
muscles.
Well, his
muscly?
face is gaunt, but his muscles are
Yeah.
protruding. Yeah. He had lost weight since last year, and he looked tired. She wondered if he still missed Joe, but of course he must. Joe had been one hell of a guy, and easygoing as they come. someone who never gave a thought for himself. Tracie still had trouble convincing herself he was gone. He had been a big part of her life. She had seen him all the time at Paula's house. I'm sorry, Carl said. Tom has asked me to be on his team. I already said I would. Is it just the two of you? You could team up with us? No. There are already 4 of us. Oh, what else? Dumb question. Cessy and Davey. She smiled, dying inside.
Says all of this.
God.
And furious with herself that she should feel so much over so little. She would see him all next week. She would probably bump into him throughout the day on the scavenger hunt. There was plenty of time to set up something with him before he disappeared forever.
Tracie, it's not going to fucking happen.
I mean, yeah, into Cessy's arms.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, where is he going? She's the one going off to college.
She's
Yeah,
going to
he's
Berkeley.
working at a gas station.
Yeah, he's working at the shitty gas
You're going
station
to
in town.
Berkeley. Like,
Honestly,
leave him
it sounds like he just hates his fucking life and he doesn't want to date anybody.
Yeah.
Sounds like an interesting combination, she said.
I better get inside, he said. She nodded. Goodbye? That's how I imagine her saying that.
I guess.
I guess? But he walks away and she's like, what the fuck?
Can I just be miserable in peace? Like, God.
Sometime later, Paula had been waiting in the gym the whole time. Tracie found her and Rick on the bottom bleacher against the far wall. Paula only needed 1 more week and she would have her diploma. What? Is that how high school works?
It's the end of the school year.
But wouldn't they
would
all
they all-
have 1 more week?
Yeah. Why would...
They're all 18.
Are they just like,
Well, it's
you're
just
better?
it's just focusing on Paula right now.
Okay.
Yeah, they all would have it. She's self-centric.
I think you're
We've got a
overthinking
Paula
it.
chapter.
I am
Yeah.
overthinking it. Yet she was risking expulsion by smoking a cigarette in full view of half the faculty.
Paula,
in the
damn.
gym? Damn,
Is that on the
Paula!
scavenger hunt?
I don't know, Paula sounds pretty badass.
I know.
She probably looked real cool doing it.
Oh boy. Oh good. Okay. Paula had gone wild since she had lost her boyfriend.
Oh,
She hung out with Jacob High's worst. Jacob? Oh, I guess the...
the school
That's
is
the
called
name of the
Jacob
school.
High.
I thought it was a
Jacob.
I
guy.
was like, who is Jacob? We have another
I
character.
know, like, who's Jacob High and what's his worst? Is that a
He was
gang?
the dude that figured out if it's really delicious if you put French fries on a burger, so they named the high school after him.
What is there like rival high school like Bill High?
Should it be Express High? Okay.
Express Jacob High.
She hung out with Jacob High's worst, a loose group of 24 guys and girls who would have been called bikers had many of them been able to afford motorcycles and leather jackets. They drank
That's
beer
actually
more...
a good sentence.
It is pretty good. They drank beer more often than smoked pot and did not accost Express's innocent bystanders. Okay.
The devil's lettuce?
On the other hand, most of them were still in high school, and Tracie thought it was only a matter of time before they all ended up behind bars. She had the horrible fear that she would get a call one night from the police telling her that Paula needed to raise bail, or worse, that she had been involved in a confrontation with officers and that she was at the hospital because police had beat her.
Is Tracie Paula's like
Friend?
emergency
Oh.
contact? Does
Yeah,
Paula
yeah.
have parents?
Yeah. Parents don't exist in these books.
Yeah.
The assumption of police violence is pretty weird
It really is.
in that sentence. The
Yeah.
way it's structured.
Paula's appearance had altered to match that of her new friends. She used to have long, wavy blonde hair, but recently had cut it short.
Evil.
You know how women do when they go through some stuff?
Oh, I know.
She's gonna become a vegetarian soon.
She either wore gobs of purple eyeshadow and tons of cheap jewelry with pink halter tops.
Cheek
or
jewelry?
Cheap jewelry.
Cheap.
Cheap.
Okay.
What did you think I said?
Cheek.
Cheek jewelry. Rhinestones. Or else wore no makeup and a torn...
This was 89. They were probably gluing shit to their faces.
Yeah. Levi jacket? Levi? Singular? Is that a thing?
Yeah, Levi
just
jeans,
like a denim
like
jacket.
jeans.
Are they just called... I thought it was Levi's, but that's just what you call the jeans, I guess.
Well, it's like Levi's jeans. It's like a possessive.
What?
I think it's just Levi is the brand name.
Jonathan learned something today.
I learned something. She chain smoked and stank of smoke. Her favorite word was goddamn.
Nice.
That's a good word.
That's a good word. I'm on Paula's side, honestly.
Yeah.
The pattern was not complex. Paula had lost her love, and now she was angry at the world. Yet she hadn't gone downhill immediately after Joe's death. It had only been months later, towards the end of summer, when the authorities found his body buried beneath a pile of dried earth, that the bad days had begun.
I was reminding myself, skimming through the book, that, like, he died in a flash flood, but they didn't find him for months. And he was, like, covered in, like, brambles and dirt and shit and, like, bugs and animals. And
probably
like,
really
Nima.
gross.
It
That's
was
the
a
guy-
very disgusting page.
Yeah.
That's Travis?
Joe.
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 Joe
Travers.
Travers. Yeah.
Travers. Sorry.
Yeah.
Travers.
You were close.
Sure.
She
I've
fainted.
got it. I'm putting it together.
She fainted when they'd lowered Joe's coffin into the ground and had woken up swearing instead of crying.
Just come
So
out
I'll
of it.
picture that for a moment. Yeah. If it hadn't been for her
Oh,
younger
man.
brother, Paula would have chucked school altogether and taken off for L.A., Tracie thought. Paula didn't baby Rick. She was harder on him than anybody. Wait, are Paula and Rick
So
siblings or are
Paula's
Tracie and Rick siblings?
I think it's Paula and Rick. So the remark that they would be married isn't gross.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
I cannot. There's too
I'll
many
cross out
brothers
me
and sisters
saying
already.
ew. Well, I think there was some pronoun confusion because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. When they said
Honestly,
it sounded
pictures
like
would help.
they were talking about Tracie.
Yeah, I need like a flow chart.
Yeah.
A legend.
Yeah. Okay. I feel a lot better. She was harder on him than anybody. If they were eating at McDonald's and he needed ketchup for his fries, she made him get it, even though the condiments were on top of a high shelf.
Hey, Bekah, that did not say ketchup.
I'm not saying catsup. I will not.
You just did.
I will not. Rick
Is
had
that
to...
not a real word?
Jesus Christ. Catsup is silly. Rick had to undo his belt and lasso the tiny plastic pouches. With
What?
the belt?
What?
Paula seldom helped him get out of the car the few mornings their drunkard mother got up the energy to drive them to school.
What?
So
That's
they're
really
so
cool
if
of you,
the sentence
Paula.
changes, the paragraph changes what they're talking about, like really quick there. So it sounds very odd.
Yeah.
Because they're talking the tiny plastic pouches. They mean McDonald's, right?
Yes, the
Oh.
catsup
Oh,
at
oh.
McDonald's.
Catsup.
And then it changes to the drunkard mother.
You're
Yeah.
not crazy. The book is crazy.
Yeah.
So
the book is crazy.
he's in a wheelchair. Their
And Paula's
mom's
like,
a
get
drunk.
your own fucking ketchup. I will not help you get out of this drunk woman's car.
Yeah. Real
But-
cool, Paul. Okay, I'm not on Paul's
Where
side
at
anymore.
McDonald's are they keeping ketchup packets really high up that a
Yeah.
person in a wheelchair couldn't get
On
them?
top of a ladder, I guess.
It was 1989. They had no rules.
Or maybe it's like them like tiered things, and the ketchup's on the top, and he just can't reach, and
Okay.
I hate this.
he has mustard for days, but he can't reach the catsup.
Mustard for days.
But all this was to make Rick self-sufficient, and only Tracie knew how much it hurt Paula not to help him.
What?
Then fucking help him,
him.
you crazy bitch.
Oh my God.
Not even Rick knew, although he was fiercely devoted to his sister. That sounds abusive. She was the only one who was always there for him when he really needed someone, except when he needed ketchup.
Or
to
help out
get
the
out of the
car.
car. Their
Or
dad was
catsup.
worse than their mom, usually off gambling and fooling around south of the border. They really are just terrible parents all the time.
Ow.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Tracie
Their
wouldn't
dad loves those Mexican whores.
Yeah. Tracie wouldn't be surprised if neither parent came to the graduation ceremony to watch Rick receive his award and listen to his speech. Put out that cigarette, Tracie said, sitting down beside Paula and behind Rick's wheelchair. When I'm done, Paula said, taking a drag. Tracie reached over and snapped it from her fingers and ground it out beneath her white tennis shoes. They give you bad breath, Tracie said. Here, here, Rick said.
Paula was not put out. She smoked to make a statement, not because she enjoyed it. She pulled a stick of gum from her tight jean pockets and popped it in her mouth. Why do you have to point out that her jean pockets are tight? She liked gum. Where were you guys? She growled.
Cool.
Waiting for Carl to come by, Tracie said. He doesn't want to be on our team. A pity, Paula said. I'm sure you're disappointed, Tracie said. Paula looked over at her. I'm sorry. Yeah, I am sorry. Look, I'm the one who told you to call him. She paused. Why doesn't he want to be on our team? Aren't we good enough for him? Cessy's asked him to be on her team, Tracie said. I thought it was Tom who asked him, Rick said.
Not
Why?
this
Why?
again.
The actual dialogue.
God.
Who's Tom? Paula
Can we
said.
get to the scavenger hunt?
We haven't
Cessy
even
and
gotten to
Davey-
like the first class.
Cessy and Davey are going to be on his team as well, Tracie explained to Rick before turning back to Paula. Tom Barrett, Carl's friend. Oh, him. Paula made a face. That guy gives me the creeps. Why? Tracie asked. I don't know. Just something about him, Paula said, distracted. So are you going to kill yourself, or do you give a damn?
Jesus.
I'm not ad-libbing it. You might want to offer her a third choice, Rick suggested. I'm disappointed, Tracie said. Paula twisted her head to the right, scanning the crowd. Are the four of them sitting together? I don't know, Tracie said. I don't want to know.
Tom Barrett? Paula muttered to herself, puzzled. Are you sure that's his last name? It's Barrett, Rick said confidently. Rick is such an asshole.
Rick is just like, I hate being smarter than everyone.
Yeah, can I not talk to any of you people? What is it? Tracie asked Paula. Nothing. The orientation started then. The crowd was 300 strong, Jacob High's entire senior class. They settled into an expectant silence as Davey stepped to the microphone. Talk about the scavenger hunt had been circulating for over a month. There was nothing like a total lack of available information on a subject to heighten interest in. What the fuck?
That was a good sentence,
Yeah.
though.
It's all right. It's just oddly to say it at all. All that was really known about the hunt was the grand prize was supposed to be incredible.
Oh my God.
Davey did not give the boring speech Cessy feared. He simply welcomed everyone, introduced Mr. Partridge, and returned to his seat. Mr. Partridge stood slowly and made his way toward the microphone. It took him a while to cover the distance. The man looked ill.
What?
Sorry. This guy's limbs must look fucking nuts. Like, his limbs were glued together at the joints.
What?
If he didn't have arthritis, he should have had it.
What?
Whatever he did have was worse.
What?
What the
Also,
Bonitis.
also, he had been a pound thinner. His clothes would have slipped off him onto the floor, which might have been a blessing in disguise.
If he was naked?
If he was naked, he was dressed weird.
What is...
Ordinarily, he wore boring black slacks and white starched shirts with bright red bow ties. Today, he had on hiking clothes, every item of which was charcoal gray. The effect was as if he had been outfitted, and then he stepped in front of a chimney sweep who was cleaning his brushes.
Yes. We all know that effect.
Oh, man.
So he has a Cockney accent, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Then there were his sunglasses. They were silver, like mirrors. He never took them off. He had explained to Paula's English lit class that he'd caught a virus in the Orient years ago that had made him permanently sensitive to bright light. Is this guy a vampire?
Okay.
Is this
He's
guy
got to
a
be a
I said
vampire.
earlier in the book when we were reading with Clint, I
Yeah.
said, is it vampires? And he said no, but he is a known liar.
He's a known liar.
This is definitely a vampire.
He's
Come
definitely
on.
a vampire. Okay, he doesn't have a Cockney accent. He has a
A
Dracula
vampire
accent.
accent. Yeah.
He's a Transylvanian, actually.
Yeah. Despite being a bore, however, he was supposed to be friendly. Hello, he said in his slow, dry voice. We'll need everybody sitting in his or her team before we can begin. Remember, 4 is the ideal number, but You may have one less or more if you must. He nodded to a group of
1,
kids.
2, 3.
I had to physically fight the urge to not go, Oh, boy.
That's beautiful.
He nodded to a group of kids sitting up front. Hand out the materials as soon as everybody is properly arranged. He then added, for the benefit of the audience as a whole, read the contents as soon as you receive the envelopes. The reorganization took only a minute. They had been warned the previous day to sit in teams. They had been warned! The kids in Mr. Partridge's club went through the crowd with their manila envelopes, giving one to each team. Rick accepted their copy from Davey, who was helping with the distribution. Rick opened it and pulled out a single sheet of paper. Paula and Tracie peered over his shoulder as the three of them read it together. Scavenger Hunt. Number 1. The beginning and the end of a dirt path that goes on forever where the water flows hidden beneath blades of green. Oh, God. Number 2. A tall tree. Number 3. A place on a course. What?
This sounds
What?
like treasure hunt instructions in a video game that I immediately fucking ignore and never complete.
Wait. So are they supposed to collect the thing on the list?
It seems like it's a map. Oh, wait,
But
no.
yeah, I mean, they said there were like unique items.
Yeah.
But that's not a tall tree. Are they supposed to dig a tall tree
Yeah.
up and bring it to that? Like, what?
Everyone bring your axes. Number 3, a place on a course, whatever the fuck that means. Number 4, the finest selection. Number 5, at the best prices. Number 6, a metal grave. Number 7, 2 of a kind. Number 8, all alone with nothing around. Number
I hope
9.
they dig up like Lemmy for a metal grave.
Number 9, wrong turn. And number 10, a place without a beginning, without an end, where the waters flow hidden beneath an empty sky.
I guess you do have to be pretty intelligent.
What the fuck is this? Paula asked. It looks neat, Rick said, excited. What's the answer? Tracie asked, half expecting him to have already figured it out. I'm sure we'll be given more instructions, Rick said, but I can already see that this isn't going to be your ordinary scavenger hunt. How so? Tracie asked. This is some kind of a map, Rick said. Mr. Partridge did indeed have a few things left to explain.
I would like to know what last year's was.
Yeah,
Was
like
it just like
It was
find
like
something green?
a basketball or
A McDonald's salt packet.
yeah.
a football helmet filled with cottage cheese.
When he was satisfied everyone had reviewed the sheet, and after exchanging a quick word with Davey, he returned to his spot behind the microphone. Oh, shit. I'm so sorry. I fully...
Finish reading the
I don't
page.
care.
I fully,
feel like reading
read
it.
like basically the second
Keep
page.
reading. I don't
I
care.
got so lost in the scavenger hunt details that I just kept reading.
That's fair.
Move it along.
All right, I'll move it along. I'm so
I didn't
sorry.
even notice you were doing that.
Okay, I'm
I-
glad.
That helps.
Chris, why did you
piece
say
of
anything?
shit.
Okay.
It's your show. I'm not going to tell you what to do.
It's our show. What you have in front of you is a list of clues that have been designed to lead you to 10 different places, Mr. Partridge said. Except for the first one. The clues are incomplete. Don't even try to figure them out now. When you
Because they
get
make no sense.
when you get to point 1, you'll find the other half of clue 2. I'm not gonna do it again. And only then will it make sense. When you reach point 2, you'll find the other half of clue 3, and so on. You cannot reach the second location without going to the first, and you cannot reach the third location without going to the second. Is this
fucking get it.
clear? Do you want me to explain it more? Raise your hand if it is not. There were no questions, somehow. Mr. Partridge continued, "You will find something else at each location. The items you must collect in order to win the scavenger hunt." There you go. So sorry.
I don't care.
You're going to do the voice, right?
Oh, yeah, of course. There will be more than one of each item at each place, but there will not be
Perfect.
enough for every team. Thank you.
Flawless Dracula.
For that reason. He sounds just like this.
Technically, it's a vampire voice, so she sounds like a
Yeah,
vampire.
vampires can sound like anything.
Yep.
Ah, I'm sorry. I was being
For,
exclusive.
for that reason, the item will be clearly listed at each location. If you get there late, you will have to try to find it elsewhere. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
But you will know what it is. But you will know what it is you have to find. You can either get it at home or purchase it if you wish. Is this clear?
Dude,
No.
if I was in school and somebody gave me these instructions, I'd be like, we're just going to, like, go home and, like, play Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing this.
I know.
This is just like a
Fuck.
free day, right?
I don't even care about the prize. Let's just leave.
I know at least 24 students who are probably just going to go drink beer instead.
Right.
I want to hang out with them.
Right? They're not going to get
Paula.
turned into
Like,
vampires.
unless I ended up on the smartest kids team, I have no chance, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Again, there were no questions. The crowd was dead silent. Either they were exceptionally attentive or else Mr. Partridge's monotone voice was putting them to sleep. He cleared his raspy throat and went on. Maybe he's a mummy. He was very stiff-jointed. While on the hunt, there are a number of rules you must follow. First, you cannot go outside of your own team for assistance, either to solve a clue or obtain one of the items. Second, you cannot take more than one of the items from each location or in any way damage the clues or items listed there. If a team breaks any of these rules, they will be immediately disqualified. Members of my club will be supervising each locale. Even if you don't see them, know that they are around.
Damn.
Vampires.
Vampires, yeah.
By the way, there is no time limit to this hunt. It can go on all day and all night and lead you to where you least expect. Have the parents signed off? But I forgot. All the parents in this town are drunk.
They're all drunk or absentee.
Yeah.
It's like the town Derry and It. Like all the parents, their mind.
yeah, they're blind to the evil.
And the school staff is like, why would we care?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be like, don't pay any attention to all the bats at every location.
Well, like, they graduate
And
in a
no
week. Don't they
garlic.
have finals?
What?
They graduate in a week or something. Don't
Yeah.
they have finals they should be doing and not this?
You would think.
There's no way these kids would do this.
Also
Everyone knows the last week of school's bullshit.
Yeah, they're already checked out mentally.
Yeah.
Everyone
Paul
knows the
is
last
not
week of
doing
school
this.
is
They're all
dedicated to
fucking
scavenger hunts.
18. Like, go... And in 1989, they could definitely go get drunk somewhere.
Paula's the one
easily.
who's got it figured out the most.
Yeah, she really does.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, by the way, all day and all night. When you reach the final location, you will know what to do with the items you have collected.
Oh, God.
For the third time, he asked if there were any questions. There was only one, and half a dozen kids called it out simultaneously. What was the grand prize? A 1-week, all-expense-paid vacation to Hawaii for each member of the winning team, Mr. Partridge said.
What?
I would just be like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Let's go hang out.
Yeah,
I
can
don't
I have
all
money?
that work for that.
Yeah,
Who paid for that?
yeah.
The crowd gasped.
Well, no, I mean nobody. It's a vampire trick. They're, like, they're gathering
Sorry, I
shit
forgot.
for vampires.
Yeah.
Then the crowd gasped. Then they began to cheer. A few shouted questions about any runner-up prizes. Mr. Partridge adjusted his sunglasses and flashed a rare, and may I say pointy, smile. There is only going to be one winner. He raised a stiff arm and waved. Good luck, everybody. You may begin now. Happy hunting.
You sound like Marcus.
He does.
Let me tell you a story. Chapter 3.
Are we
Cessy
going?
dragged
Yeah, this
Tom.
one's short.
Cessy
What?
dragged.
Oh, you go? Okay.
Yeah, well, like when the chapter breaks in the middle of a page, we just go to the next one.
Gotcha.
Chapter 3. Cessy dragged Tom and Carl outside the instant Mr. Partridge gave his go-ahead. She was excited. What does the first clue mean? She kept asking. Carl laughed. Ha ha ha. He couldn't get over his good fortune at being on Cessy's team. She genuinely seemed to like him. Asking her out when they were finished for the day, he thought should be no snap. Which is something no one has ever said in the history of speaking.
Cessy?
Isn't the phrase, it would be a snap, not no snap?
None of this makes sense. And imagine if they won.
We just learned something huge, though, right? That
What?
Carl likes Cessy, right?
No, that
We
was
learned
evident.
that in the last episode when
Oh,
he
we
was
saw her
horny for
naked
her in
and-
the pool.
Oh.
He almost saw her naked.
Imagine
remember he
if
saw
they
like
won.
part of her tit?
Yeah, it
Side
should be
boob?
like it should be no whoop. You know,
No big whoop.
no big whoop.
Or just it be a snap.
should be a snap.
Or
yeah.
no diggity.
Or no diggity.
No, that's not how you use that word.
Homie, don't play that? I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out the team. So
I will say that
Cessy,
girl is
Davey,
poison.
Carl, Tom,
Cessy, Davey, Carl, Tom.
and then Rick, Paula, Tracie, and did they have a fourth? But because they were gonna ask Carl, but did they have someone else?
Oh, I guess they don't have a fourth.
Okay.
Okay.
And imagine if they won and were able to go to Hawaii together. The thought of it made his head whirl. On the islands, they'd have the whole Pacific Ocean to go skinny dipping in.
He's got his mind on one fucking thing.
Yet he kept his good
They
feelings
could
on a leash.
go have sex while everyone's doing the scavenger.
Yet he kept his good feelings on a leash, afraid to let them run away with him and leave him empty-handed. He was not the first guy Cessy had flirted with this school year, and even though there was only a week left of class, he probably wouldn't be the last. Shouldn't we wait for Davey? Carl asked. Here I am, Davey called, making his way out of the jammed side door. They had avoided the stampede. I like to think the whole time he's thinking about it, you just hear like... and then here I am. I just know they're waiting for me, Davey called, making his way out of the jammed side door. They had avoided the stampede by seconds. Wouldn't it be ironic if the first clue referred to a place inside the gym? Davey disentangled himself smoothly from the crowd and offered Carl his hand.
I'm glad you could join us, he said. I appreciate you having me, Carl said. The beginning and the end of a dirt path that goes on forever, Cessy said, reading from the paper in her hands. Where the water flows hidden beneath blades of green. She turned impatiently to her brother. Just tell us, Davey. At least the first one so we can get started. Davey was annoyed. Would you stop that? You have half the school distrusting me. I have to figure these things out just like everybody else. Cessy stared at him for a moment before smiling. All right, brother, I believe you. She turned. I don't know, the dialogue is so odd.
No, it's awful.
I believe you. She turned to Tom. Any ideas? Blades of green probably mean grass.
Tom does
Good
have a
Lord.
traumatic brain injury.
I just want them all to be like, good job, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just
Good
standing
boy,
there
Tom.
like
Here's a
all
treat.
dead-eyed and shit, and just chimes in with blades of green probably mean grass.
God.
Blades of green probably mean grass, Tom said. That's right, Carl said, impressed.
Carl,
there.
reel it back a little.
But where does water flow hidden beneath the grass around here? Cessy asked. Lots of places, Davey said. There's pipes under most of the school.
And civilization.
Yeah, right. Does it have to be in the school? Carl asked. From what Mr. Partridge explained, I would say no. Davey said, let's look at that part about a dirt path that goes on forever. It sounds like a metaphor. Carl nodded, thoughtful. A metaphor for a circle. But where do we have a circle dirt path? That, he clapped his hands together, the track. Not so loud, Cessy
Their track
cautioned.
was dirt and not asphalt?
Yeah, it's a really cheap school. Jacob does not have money.
Jacob High.
Jacob High. They couldn't even afford a full name.
You know, this weird, culty, creepy shit would make sense if it was Jacob from Lost had founded this high school.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're on
it's
an
Jacob's ladder.
Yeah.
Anyway. Not so loud, Cessy cautioned, glancing over her shoulder. But isn't the track oval-shaped, Tom asked.
Oh, Tom.
It doesn't matter, Carl said. It still goes on forever. God, are these people fucking... Even they're young, but they're not stupid,
Oh, my
right?
God. They might
Does
be.
an oval matter?
Oh, no. Sorry, I smacked my microphone.
You idiot.
I'm so sorry.
Do you even know what Blades of Green means? Come on.
No. Davey's face brightened. He slapped Carl in the back. I think we're on our way to Hawaii. They followed the ramp behind the gym up to the stadium. There was already a team on the track at the post where the races usually started and ended. Tracie, Rick, and Paula. Rick had probably deciphered the clue before Mr. Partridge finished talking. They hurried over to Tracie's team. Paula was pulling up a drain cover beside the starting post. We should have known it would be you guys, Davey said. Is there anything there? We can't tell you, Rick said, but you can look for yourself. They gathered around the underground space where the overflow from the sprinklers drained. There was a cardboard box in it now, instead of water, and it held a dozen identical hunting knives. What?
A box of knives in a fucking drain?
For a school, like, yeah, go find a box of knives.
What?
This was the late 80s.
Wow. Tom picked one up.
You know, knives for kids.
This is good quality, he said, slipping it into his belt.
Wait, who did that?
Tom! Slipping it in his belt. Paula also grabbed a knife and glanced up at him. Do you collect weapons, dude? She asked. Tom did not respond, but merely lowered his head. He didn't understand the question. Cessy got down on her knees in the grass by the hole.
Gross.
Where's the clue that goes with number 2 on our paper? She asked. It was typed on a piece of paper, taped to the side of the box. It said, "That is no longer so." Beneath it, in capital letters, were the word, "Hunting knife!" A tall tree, Rick said, putting the two clues together. That is no longer so. Sounds to me like the stump by the administration building, Davey said. Everyone
Are you
looked
Marvin
at him
the Martian?
in surprise.
The Pew 38 explosive space modulator.
If I put any effort into this, it would just be to hang back and spy on the smart kids.
Yeah.
And just chase them around a little bit. Oh my god. He laughed and shrugged his shoulders. It was so obvious. What difference does it make? We can walk there together. What if we're being watched? Rick asked. Well, tell them we both figured it out right away, Davey said. Besides, I think the whole thing about being under surveillance is just a scare tactic. Mm-hmm. Davey could be persuasive, and in a sense, they weren't actually breaking the rules. Rick and the girls must have figured out the clue the instant they read it. Carl had. But Carl did not discard the possibility that they were being watched through binoculars. He had an uncanny feeling that someone had an eye on them. Maybe it was the sky lizard. Remember that? Carl was both relieved and disappointed when Tracie and Paula immediately fell behind their team. He didn't understand why he should feel uncomfortable being seen by Tracie with Cessy. Really?
What?
Perhaps he was suffering from guilt about having rushed to Cessy's swimming pool when he should have taken a minute to call Tracie. Guilt, sometimes it seemed to him the only emotion holding his insides together.
Wow.
That
Jesus.
and regret. He looked back at his life and wondered where he had been while it had taken place.
Damn!
He had gone through the motions for the last 4 years. He had gone to school, got his driver's license and a job, and he had done nothing. The only times he had felt even remotely alive were when he had gone hiking in the mountains in the desert with Joe, when they had sat together late at night beside a crackling fire talking about the future. Joe had always been looking forward to what the years would bring, but all they had brought him was what they brought everyone in the end, only a whole lot sooner. Poor Joe. Cool page.
How are you going to have
Death
two
is
paragraphs that are well written, and then the rest of it so poor? All right, what do we have on this page?
Broken clock is right twice a day, Chris.
Yeah, right.
Carl glanced over his shoulder. He would have liked to have told Tracie again that he was sorry. It wasn't often anyone wanted him for anything. Cessy noticed his glance and touched his shoulder. "Having fun?" she asked. "Yes," he said. He supposed he was. They were at the bottom of the ramp and heading into the shadow of the gym and past the teams that were still stuck on the first clue, which appeared to be everyone except them, when Davey brought up an interesting article he'd read in the paper. "I think it was in the Sunday's paper," he said. "San Diego's Times." Because he is now Marvin the Martian.
Yeah.
Sure,
This child.
You might find this particularly interesting, Rick. It was about a gold mine in the desert not far from here. They called it Volta.
What?
Strange name for a mine, Rick said, cocking an ear. He was between Carl and Davey, keeping pace with them. Excuse me. "The mine had a strange history," Davey said. "It was dug out toward the end of the gold rush days by a group of 3 men and 1 woman. The vein turned out to be one of the richest in the state. Working without any outside help, the group took $5 million worth of gold out of it. That's $5 million in 1860 dollars." Rick whistled, which I can't do.
You can't whistle?
I can't whistle reliably.
Okay.
Don't rub it in. That's just cruel.
I was just helping.
Oh my gosh, what happened?
Oh, no.
Why did it get tiny?
The book we're reading.
It auto-renewed.
Oh, nice.
Oh, auto-renewed.
I forgot we set it to do that.
Oh, that's a feature we could have done this whole time?
No, I think they just added that recently.
All right.
After it broke
Rick
for 2
whistled. They probably could have bought California for that back then. Davey shook his head, because apparently he was alive back then, because he's a vampire. "None of them got to spend a cent of it. The gold was left unclaimed in a bank deposit box in San Francisco, along with a map describing the location of Volta. Apparently, after taking the gold to San Francisco, the group decided to return to search the mine one last time to see if they missed anything."
Did he memorize this article?
It's a lot
must
of
have.
info.
It's a lot of information.
It's all an elaborate ruse to kill a kid.
Yeah, it's a lot. Unfortunately, there was a cave-in or something. They all died. Did someone find the map and trace them to Volta, Rick asked. "Yes," Davey said. "The president of the bank where they stored the gold. He headed straight to the mine without going to the police. The bank must have had his record stating who the money belonged to." This is a lot of information.
I know! That's what...
God.
This is even more than I expected.
Yeah.
Why
Oh
was
my
this
God.
article
Fucking
just in the paper?
And
Is it
also,
just a little
what
like
does this have
today
to
in
do with
history?
fucking anything?
I don't know. It's going to be about vampires, though. "But I guess they didn't make any mention of the map. The bank president probably figured he could pick himself up a few nuggets, and no one would be the wiser. There was about a year after the
Doesn't
others
the
had
bank guy
disappeared."
have all the money in the bank?
Yeah, that the
Yeah.
All
gold
these
was in the
people
bank.
died and he has the money in the
God.
bank?
Right. This was-
Bankers
where
keepers,
was
that's
I?
what they
Oh, yeah.
say, right?
Bankers keepers?
Bankers keepers. "This was about a year after the others had disappeared. But when he got to the mine, he found the entrance blocked with stone and gravel. He had to labor for over a month to get inside. Then, when he did break through, all he found were a couple of skeletons." Only 2?
They
Rick
turned into
asked?
skeletons in a month?
Right. Well, they were eaten by vampires.
Yeah.
Oh,
Their bones were
right.
picked
Sorry.
Or zombies or
picked-
some
yeah.
shit, I don't know.
Yeah.
What about the other 2? "The guy didn't see them," Davey said. "But he figured at first they must have been in there or else the people would have returned for their money. Anyway, the bank president found something else. It was a diary. One of the skeletons was holding it in his bony hand." Who talks like that as a kid? His bony hands? Rick interrupted. Always a stickler for details. "Were both the skeletons male?" Interesting. You should ask that.
Is interesting the right word to use?
I know. He's talking like he's
They
a
really
detective.
are on the island from Lost.
Christ.
Yeah. The article said
They were us from the future past.
Right.
Who wrote this article?
I know. This article
So
is amazing.
informative.
Yeah.
Go on, Rick said. What was in the diary?
Oh my god.
Davey smiled. The paper thought the guy who wrote it must have been delirious from oxygen deprivation.
What?
He said that the mine was haunted, and that anybody who entered it should leave immediately before it was too late.
He said that all the gold they'd uncovered was worthless. Was it fool's gold? Rick asked. Not worthless in that sense. It couldn't have meant that. It couldn't have. These people could tell the difference between the real thing and fake. Here's where it gets interesting.
Thank
Isn't
God.
that like the
I
fifth
don't
time he
believe
said
you.
that?
Hold on. A quick question.
Are they still
This
running?
This was in
Right.
town?
What?
Was this in town that this happened?
I have
If this
feel
was
like I
something
blacked
that
out.
happened in this town,
Yeah.
everyone would know about this forever.
Yeah.
A haunted mine?
Yeah.
You'd
But-
never stop talking about it for generations.
Aren't they just running from one location on the school grounds to another location?
Yeah. They're going to the stump.
And he has time to
Going
say
from
this
the
much
track to the
text?
stump.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's Christopher Pike coming up with the whole walking and talking trope.
Yeah.
That
Oh, it's Aaron Sorkin.
popularized.
Yeah.
Stole it from Pike.
What if Aaron Sorkin was like, you know where I got that from?
It's a really
did it
good way to
first.
jump some
Scavenger Hunt.
exposition.
Here's where it gets interesting. The bank president returned to his home in San Francisco. He brought the diary with him, but no gold. He couldn't find any. But as soon as he got back, he was arrested. The gold the others had deposited was gone. Everyone figured the president had stolen it. He was the only one who had the keys to the safety boxes. But he swore he hadn't touched it. Also, he was out of town, so what evidence do you have? He eventually got out on bail. I answered my own question. He was a widower. Need to know that. He told
His wife was dead.
He told his only child, a daughter, about the map and what he'd found in the mine. He gave her the diary. Then he disappeared. Where did he go? Rick asked. No one
asking
knows for
questions.
sure. I can't believe how long this article was. He never came
I could have
back.
just shown you the article because I have it in my pocket.
It took up the whole newspaper. He never came back, but the daughter believed he returned to the mine. It didn't look like he was going to win his trial. What? She thought he had gone to the mine in the hope he would find enough gold to allow the two of them to flee the country. He never told her what he had planned, so that was a guess. Maybe he
I'm
didn't
so glad I
find
didn't
gold
start writing this down.
and split without her. What?
I'm glad I didn't start writing this down because it's never ending.
I don't even know what kind of notes you can take from this story.
It has something to do with a tree stump.
Haunted mine. Maybe he did find the gold and split without her, Rick suggested, growing tired of the story. The daughter said he would never have done that. She thought he died in the mine like the others. From another cave-in? Rick asked. Maybe, maybe not, Davey said.
Did you ever remember Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the Ghost of Christmas Past from the future? Does anybody remember that? It would start
Vaguely.
reading,
Never
like,
watched it.
thousands of years ago.
The woman spent years studying the diary. She became convinced that the man who wrote it hadn't been crazy.
Haunted Mine sounds like the opening of a goth love letter.
Oh, haunted mine. thought the mine
That
was
took me a second to get
haunted
it.
and that her father ended up another victim of its evil. That's why she destroyed the diary. She was afraid someone would use it to piece together where the mine was. What about the gold in the bank? Rick asked. I thought, we talked about that already. To this day, no one knows what became of it. And the map? The man took it with him when he left for the last time. Davey glanced down at Rick again. But the daughter did divulge certain points to various people over the years regarding the mine's whereabouts. Taken separately, the information wouldn't have led a person anywhere, but the individual who researched Volta put together enough facts to figure the mine must lie approximately 50 miles east of here, near Rust Valley. I know that area, Tom spoke up. Carl, we've been there, haven't we? Rust Valley? Carl said, frowning, unable to place it. Does it have another name? Volta probably has another name, Davey said. Rick, do you know why I'm telling you all this? We're all
You're
fucking
insane.
dying to know, Davey. You want me to find the mine, Rick said. The kid is a genius, Davey said. I hate Davey. I hope he dies.
So that had nothing to do with the scavenger hunt. He was just like, "You're smart."
While we're on this inscrutable scavenger hunt,
Yeah.
I would like you to find this lost mine for me.
Yeah.
Full of gold and corpses.
Skeletons.
Skeletons are corpses,
I guess so. I think of a corpse as having
They're
meat on it.
they're a piece of
I
corpses.
guess.
Piece of corpses.
I mean, corpses have skeletons in them.
Yeah. Corpses are more meaty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need meat for corpse.
Rick nodded. I'm smart enough to know that half the people who read that article must be thinking of trying to find it. Hear me out, Davey said, not done talking, fucking apparently.
Oh my god.
Of course, I realized that if the mine was easy to locate, it would have been found by now. If by nobody else than the person who researched the subject. But here's where we have an edge over him. I can't believe we're still talking about this.
Ugh.
Jesus.
We know a local librarian with an unusual passion for local history.
Do we?
Mrs. Farley? Rick asked. Mrs. Farley was the town's head librarian for the whole town.
If you
whole
know
town.
the name of the town's librarian, that town is too small.
And you're a fucking
Did they
nerd.
not reach the stump yet?
No, they're still walking to
Jesus.
it.
They
It's a
said
big-
they were running.
It's
though.
a huge campus.
She was a busy woman, even in a city like Express where the main avenue of intellectual stimulation was provided by cable TV. Yes, Davy said, she has a closet full of documents that go back to when there were only Indians and Spaniards trampling around this neck of the woods. Not once in the article did the author quote her. I don't think he knows about her. Chances are she read the article and has already gotten in contact with him, Rick said. I doubt she even reads contemporary papers, Davy said. Look, it's worth a try. Why not talk to her and see if she'll let you dig into her stuff? Why me, Rick asked. Why not you? 2 reasons, Davy said. First, Mrs. Farley adores you and hates me. And don't ask me why. She wouldn't let me near her documents. Second, I don't have the patience or the time to search through boxes of old papers for something that the odds are 1,000 to 1 against me finding. That's a straight answer, Rick said. He considered a moment. I guess it wouldn't hurt to give it a try. When was that article printed? Last Sunday, I think, but I can't be sure.
Really? You were sure about literally every other fucking fact about it.
Oh my god.
Cessy accidentally threw out the paper. I threw it on purpose, Cessy said cheerfully, apparently uninterested in Davy's
You wouldn't
story.
shut the fuck up about it.
Carl
Read
had
that
found
article
it,
10 times.
Carl had found it fascinating. When he was young, he loved tales of buried treasure. That was one of the reasons he was enjoying the scavenger hunt. He wondered if Rust Valley was another name for Red Ravine.
Maybe fucking speak up, idiot, because obviously it is.
He had hiked the ravine several times with Joe, who was dead. One thing, Rick said, if I find the mine and it's still got gold in it, how are we going to split the money? It seems to me I'm going to be doing the majority of the work. Wait, so are they assuming that this all leads to the mine? Is that...
This appears
This
to be
seems
secondary.
completely tangential.
Yeah.
They just remembered something while doing this that happens to lead
While
to a pot
we're
of
finding
gold?
one thing, let's
Yeah.
talk about
While
another
we're-
thing we can find.
While we're trying to
Okay.
win a trip to Hawaii, let's also look for gold.
Oh, a pot of gold. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, but I turned you on... Oh.
Yes, but I turned you on to the prospect, Davey said. We'll split it equally.
No doubt the original miners made the same agreement, Cessy said. The stump... Finally.
Jesus
The
Christ.
stump! The stump, located on the north side of the administration building, where pedestrian traffic was sparse,
20 miles away from
Yeah,
the
right.
track.
proved to be point 2 on Mr. Partridge's list. They were off to a flying start. Were they? He just had a lecture about an article for an hour. This cardboard box wasn't actually sitting on top of the stump, but under a nearby bush where it would have been hard to miss once the riddle had been solved. Inside were a dozen black plastic wristwatches. Paula and Tom took one each. Already the two had fallen into the roles of caring for the items. But whereas Tom was sporting his knife in his belt and was quick to put on the watch, Paula was keeping her things in her pockets. Okay. Carl couldn't help noticing how she hadn't looked at him once since they had bumped into each other on the track. He hated when people hated him, especially when he honestly felt no hatred for anyone. Even Hitler. The typed page on the side of the box described the contents for those who arrived too late to get one of the 12 watches. It also contained the clue that makes the hearty gasp. Sounds mysterious, Cessy said. Jesus. So mysterious. Maybe our two teams should go on our separate ways from now on, Rick said to Davey.
You figured it out? Davey asked. No comment, Rick said. I'm sure we'll be seeing each other later, Davey said. Should you stumble across any treasure in the meantime, remember our deal. I will, Rick said, with a mischievous grin. Ba 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 ba.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Um,
I can't believe how much of that was not about the scavenger hunt.
Yeah, it was about an article that somebody read.
I had while we were through those two chapters, I had so many theories, but they kept getting lost with a new theory because
Sure.
Christopher Pike is, if nothing else, truly unpredictable. Because I feel like vampires is too easy.
I can't remember what it was early in the book that made us think vampires.
Yeah,
but something
there
felt
was something.
very vampire-y.
The description of Mr. Partridge.
Definitely.
It was before we even got to
before
him.
Oh, but that was one of the theories I had, is that Mr. Partridge is the bank manager from the article.
Ah.
If he's like an immortal vampire.
I still think Cessy and Davey are in on it.
You mean
What
Paula?
They're with the vampires?
Oh wait.
Yeah.
Oh, Cessy and Davey are in it with the vampires.
Yep.
Okay,
They only arrived in town a year ago.
that's right.
Yeah.
They're new in town.
One of them likes being nude in the mornings to rope young boys in, taking
Young,
advantage of
delicious boys.
yeah,
with their
a
moist innards.
concussion-addled young boy.
Oh, Tom.
naked, glistening boys.
I can't remember why we thought vampires.
There was
Early
something
on.
that we were like, vampires, maybe.
I think it's because he's sheltered in a church in the epilogue.
Oh,
No,
that's
the
probably what it
prologue.
was. Yeah, he was hiding from someone in a church.
It's got to be vampires. These books aren't written for geniuses.
Yeah, no,
obvious.
it's written for children, which are historically dumb.
The only reason why I'm maybe not vampires, even though all signs point to vampires, is like we were saying earlier, the future predicting VCR turned out to just be about a robot from the future. That came out of left field so fucking hard. We're like, wait, what? That's what this is
Well,
about?
the mine article came out of left field, and it's already
Yeah.
It's only chapter 3.
There's like a scavenger hunt, and then it's like, let's look for gold.
Christopher Pike has such a penchant for like throughout the entire book just throwing new shit like that at you, and you're like, what? Wait, what? Where is this going? Yeah. Oh my
Like he
God.
wrote Jurassic Park, and like midway through, somebody's like, I read something about an article. On this very island, there's a treasure buried.
It's a treasure. What if Jurassic Park just ended, just turned into a treasure hunt halfway through? That'd be amazing.
They just stop worrying about dinosaurs, and they don't affect anything to the treasure hunt. It doesn't even come into play.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, that was interesting.
Yep.
Bob,
stuff.
do you have any thoughts or predictions? Aside vampires.
Look, I'll give Christopher Pike the benefit of the doubt. And I'll say that the entire, for some reason, the vampires that control the town of Jacobs High School need a bunch of gold to do something.
Oh, yeah.
And they had the article. The article is their way of seeding the town to know about where the gold might be. And as soon as somebody uncovers it, because it's in some kind of religious place that they can't get to.
Ooh.
So they're trying to draw the gold out.
Like the church.
Like the church.
Like the church.
From the prologue.
But also that doesn't account for the scavenger hunt. The scavenger hunt to me also seems like they're trying to get the kids to do something for them without knowing it. Why?
Yeah,
the hunting knives and the...
Yeah, why is the first thing a knife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A knife and a watch.
And a watch. What the fuck? I can't wait to find
Like
out
they
what the other
need,
ones
trying
are.
to
they
kill
need
time.
mortals to do something to get shit for them.
The fact that
worst
both of you are
season of
grabbing
Buffy,
your heads.
you know?
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Chris murdered me. Oh, boy.
That sums up our friendship.
Right.
I feel like they must have some idea, the vampires.
Yeah.
And so they're going to get the kids near the vicinity with the scavenger hunt clues.
Okay, yeah.
I probably obviously won't be here for this, but I'm guessing that trip to Hawaii does not exist. That's my prediction.
It
There's
has
no
to not
way.
exist.
No
There's
one's
that
no
doesn't
way.
exist.
There's no
Yes.
way.
If
Even the
anyone ends up
richest
in
school in the
Hawaii,
world.
it's going to be like Mr. Partridge or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
like vampire in
Drinking a
Hawaii
glass of
or
blood.
something.
Sipping a
like
glass of
drinking
blood.
drinking blood out of a coconut shell
If it
in
was
the
the movie, that
epilogue.
would be the last shot of the movie.
Yeah.
Is him with like
It's a
sandals
living.
on. Yeah.
It'd be pretty funny if there's no vampires and the scavenger hunt is straightforwardly just a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
And they
That's
just
it.
win a trip to Hawaii and then
And Davey's just being really annoying about something he read in the paper.
he's just a busybody kid.
Yeah.
the treasure never comes up again.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They're sitting on the beach in Hawaii like, hey, remember that treasure hunt thing that you talked
Whatever happened
about?
with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, well.
We'll find out in Scavenger Hunt 2. No!
Wait, you realize that we're in a book? Oh my God. Another thing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for another Christopher Pike.
Sure.
Do
My
you have
second favorite starship captain. So
Thank you for letting us expose you to just more insanity.
sure. Yeah.
It's
Like
always,
someone wrote that and thought, this is great.
This is great. You know
They
who
were
this
right.
is great for? Kids.
Yeah.
Because kids talk like this.
Yeah. This is the most stilted teenage dialogue I've ever read.
It's worse than Dawson's Creek.
Do you have anything to plug? Anything you want people listening to know about?
The best way, just I'm at Thunder Grunt Bob on like every social media platform, and just look at my bio, and it's all in there.
Nice. All
Yeah,
right.
I think that's easiest to say.
That works.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at find Bob at Thunder Grunt Bob. We're on all social media, and follow us. Follow Below Grade Level on TikTok and Instagram, and you can follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, and subscribe and let us know if you have any thoughts or books to recommend. You can write to us at Cactus Rodeo. Sorry. You can write to us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Oh, and YouTube. I keep forgetting to mention YouTube because we're actually
Yes,
getting
yeah.
some interactions there. So hi to everyone watching, listening on YouTube. And you can also find Below Grade Level on YouTube. So, all right. Well, that's it for this episode. Join us next time as we, I guess, figure out what's behind clue number 3. And maybe treasure and maybe vampires. Who knows what's going to happen.
This book has everything.
I love it so far. Thanks for listening. We love you. Bye.
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 Below Grade Level is a Cactus Radio production. You can contact us at podcast@cactusrodeo.com. Subscribe and follow on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify, and follow Cactus Rodeo on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more entertainment and updates.